So I was in federal prison, and it was June 8th, 2008. Normal day, started just after 4 o'clock in the morning. By 4:15, I'm enjoying a cup of coffee in my cubicle. By 4:30, I'm in the quiet room with my friend and now business partner, Michael Santos, who got there about 1 o'clock every single morning. By 6:30, hitting the chow hall. By 8 o'clock, I'm upstairs getting dressed for my 10-mile run back to the dorm by 10:30 in the morning for the standing count. And then it hit me around 11:30 that morning. It hit me like a left hook to the face. I'm going to tell you what hit me in a moment. Before I do, welcome to the White Collar Advice channel. I'm so grateful that you're here. We've just crossed over 19,000 subscribers. If you find value, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you don't, unsubscribe, dislike the video, and I guess I will never see you again. Not cool. Happy to have you here right now, however. Quick note, we've launched a new Skool in the Skool app, Skool Community. It's a new community that's growing beautifully every single day. Terrific engagement by our members, clients, their friends, their family, their lawyers. We're engaged and growing together. So if you want to join this community, get access to our courses, to our weekly webinar that we will no longer post and share on YouTube. I'm going to put up a link in the description. Please join our Skool community. And of course, if you want any of the free resources we give away, visit our Skool community, Prison Professors, or White Collar Advice. Okay, enough of the pitching and joining our community. That's not why you're here. Maybe that's why you're here. Let's get back to the value of this video, the hardest day in federal prison. Now, a lot of people presume the hardest day on the inside will be that first day. God knows I've contributed to the problem of enough first day in federal prison videos. I've done it on YouTube, a lot of views. I did one on TikTok that got more than 1 million views. Yes, I play into it as well. People are fascinated with prison, especially that first day, but I'm here to tell you, it's really not that big a deal. You surrender at 10 or 11 if you've surrendered. It's so emotional, it's so quick, it's so fast. Just like that, it's over. In the totality of your case, it's a little blip, man. It's not that big a deal. But a lot of people cover it, including yours truly. What's really difficult, what makes it the hardest day, at least for me, was that June 8th. I wrote about it in my journal. If I told you my 2 kids are like trying to break this thing open to read the journal, I'm like, you're 5 and 8. You can't even like read the whole thing yet. Scale back. We're not ready to break it open. When you get a little bit older, we'll crack it open and go through the journal. You're going to learn all of the insider secrets about your dad's life on the inside. They're fascinated. I expect at some point to come in and see this thing on the ground. Pardon the digression. That June 8th, it hit me around 11:30 in the morning when I was doing an ab class with my good friend Andrew Alchek. Andrew led this ab class of like about 10 dudes. I was one of them. And you'd already heard me say I exercised, ran 10 miles in the morning, went back for a count. And just like that, I'm like back doing an ab class. See, I adjusted those early weeks in federal prison by kind of mocking some prisoners who watch TV all day, who complained, who played table games or slept. Yet I didn't have like the wherewithal or awareness to recognize I'm really no different than them. I just channel my energy to exercise. If anything, they have more of an excuse than me because they didn't have the opportunities and privilege and that I just squandered and wasted. So perhaps I should have been more critical on myself and more lenient on others. Essentially, I needed a little bit of time on the inside to reflect and become more humble and kind. And I certainly began to get it in prison. Now, back to that June day, we're doing abs and then it hit me. My God. I don't know how to say this to myself, Justin. This is my life. I'm going to be here for a while. I surrendered April 28th. Even the month of May is such a blur because it's new, kind of exciting in a way. You're like, I'm not going to get killed. It's nothing like television. It's really not that boring. At least it's not for me. You're making some friendships. You have your first visit. You form your routine. Like the early weeks, they just fly by, man. It wasn't that bad. And then again, it hit me like it's going to hit all of you if you're going to prison. First day, fine. Get adjusted, fine. It goes by pretty quickly at first, and then it's going to hit you. Maybe it's a June 8th while you're doing an ab class. Maybe it's an April 5th while you're working in the kitchen. Maybe it's a May 19th while you're visiting. It's going to set in and it's going to kick in, and you're going to realize this is the hardest day in prison because I now know I'm settled and I'm going to be here for a while. When it hit me, I still really wasn't ready to embrace change, which is why I want all of you to be different and better than me. When it hit me that I was going to be here for a while, I simply told myself, okay, most people have it worse. Most people are going to be here much longer. So I found some perspective and gratitude, if anything, that the sentence was not shorter. That's an appropriate, I would argue, stoical response. Focus on the benefits rather than complain and obsess over things you cannot control. Back then, when I was in prison in 2008, First Step Act hadn't passed. There weren't really mechanisms to advance your release date, so it didn't matter really if you did ab class all day or ran or exercised. You weren't really going to get rewarded with more halfway house time. And even though the Second Chance Act had passed, giving some people up to a year in the halfway house, Short-termers like me, they just doubled your halfway house from 45 to 90 days, whether you exercised all day or you programmed. So they didn't have the incentives they do now. And frankly, we believe more incentives are coming. Our work, of course, was instrumental in the passing of the First Step Act, is memorialized by Michael Santos's journey, his book Earning Freedom that he wrote in 2008, but he began memorializing this in 1987. We believe more reform is coming, which is great news for all of you who are going to go to prison. There's no good time to go, but if there was, this would be the time. We are advocating for more reform. So when I was back in prison, even when it hit me like I'm going to be here for a while, I didn't immediately pivot and begin to make better decisions. I just sort of doubled down on the exercise and rationalized and told myself this will be the way that I adjust in prison. I may go home with no reputation, no career, no money, no future or anything, but at least I'm going to be really fit and strong. I want you, when you have that realization, like this is a really tough day because I'm not going home for a while, I want you to assess how well you have truly been preparing. Go to like a basic question that someone would ask you on a scale of 1 to 10. How well are you preparing? Be honest with yourself and assess, because what will happen is if you don't pivot and make a change or have someone holding you accountable, then you're in too deep. And it's very difficult to change habits in life, especially in prison. Once you form your friendships, prison's like a microcosm of society, you're going to have your clique. It's very difficult to change and pivot. I know, because once I finally got it together in October of 2008, it was difficult to change and pivot because I was so ingrained in my routine. So that's how I'm going to close this video. I want all of you traversing this really wretched system to join our community at no cost, our Skol Community. Go and ask questions, learn from our members. Ask a question and we're going to respond or cover it on our webinar. And if you're watching this and you're going in soon, I want you to think of me when it hits you. I'm going to be here for a while. If you're watching this and you have a loved one in prison, the next time you visit, I want you to ask them, what do you do all day? What are you doing to memorialize your journey? What are you doing to overcome the collateral consequences that accompany a white-collar crime conviction? What are you doing to nurture a relationship with your probation officer? What are you doing to line up employment on the other side? Have you begun to write your release plan, which will soon be ubiquitous in the Bureau of Prisons because of our work? These are the questions I want you to ask rather than how's the sun? How's the weather today? Oh, you have 3 months in the books. You're going to be home soon. Ask a tougher follow-up question. What are you going to do when you come home? The hardest day was that June day, not the first day. I want you to be prepared for it, plan for it, so when it happens, you're not taken aback and caught off guard. You need to be forward thinking and understand what's coming. More pain, more struggle. If you don't mitigate, memorialize the journey, and plan. Thank you so much for being a part of our community and helping us cross over 19,000 subscribers. I'm very grateful to have all of you, and I look forward to returning very soon.